And just back, Graham, onto the implementation of the agents. Speaking to a few people out there, it does seem that people have this view that an agent is just a simple, one bit of tech. It's an LLM that's been pre-configured by somebody else, and I can just call it and run it, and it's going to figure this stuff out. You've been to some of the conferences and you've spoken to some of the Microsoft engineers there and saying, I've got this use case, what should I do? And they come back and show you the diagrams. What does it look like?
At the moment, it's not something that you put into the hands of a business user and go, hey, this is how you're going to implement your agent. There's lots of different technologies to use in order to build your agents and how you go about it. So first of all, there's a lot of work up front to do in understanding your knowledge, and that's key to all of this. And every if any talks people listen to don't mention your data quality to start with, then it's not worth listening to, right? Whatever data you have has to be good quality. I think of some projects I've been involved in, thinking, man, we could never put an LLM or any agent in front of this because it would give you bad answers because your data is not good enough to be able to hold on to it. So there's this whole piece around kind of knowledge and data that has to be in there first. But then there's we've seen rapid development kind of from Microsoft, especially in this area, going, hey, I spoke to them at a conference a couple of months ago, and I said, I've been trying to do this with Copilot. It doesn't work the way I want it to go. And they're like, well, yeah, actually, it's not going to work that way. You have to go and build your stuff using these different technologies. So you're going to use Python for doing this. You're going to use LangChain for doing this. You're going to use these libraries for doing this. But actually, don't worry, we're going to make it easier for you to manage this and then deploy it and wrap up in a nice wrapper using Kubernetes, Docker, put it in a nice wrapper so you can then deploy it and then use it in your environment as an API or as a chat agent or baked into your business process. So the world of development is, you're still developing these things, but actually a lot of people like Microsoft are making it easier for you to wrap that up in a controlled way and deploy it and then use it. I know you've done a lot of work on our framework and our platform and steering that in terms of how we deliver agentic stuff. I don't know what your input on that is.
Yeah, my experience is that it's exactly right. And the approach that we've taken at Jam is to we've got the Microsoft camp where they are rationalizing everything into Microsoft Fabric, etc. Foundry, and then inside of there, they're really sort of stepping you through setting up all the resources that's inside of there. They're wrapping up the ability for you to go and create agents and do test prompting, the ability to then wrap up other providers into a more governed, with a governance wrapper around it and an SLA contract around it for the operation of that LLM. They put in some of the auditing that we've spoken about, give you the ability to put hooks into that, as well as some of the management side. So they're wrapping that all up. And then also on the various databases that you're going to need for your knowledge, etc. They're providing those, and then they're giving you better UIs for doing indexing and tying in semantic search onto those vectors. So there's all of that that's being made available to manage and build. But to go and build it and to understand what the hell you're doing, you still need to be a developer to go and put it in.
Yeah.
And then we've got the other camp where we're saying, well, actually also there's a pure play, not pure play, that's not fair, but there's a non-Microsoft motion where actually if you're going to go and write something that's using LangChain, ChromaDB as open source, and any other LLM provider, what do you do to that and how do you stand it up? And that can even come down to, are you on a Mac and what IDE you're going to use on there? You're going to use Notebook, or are you somebody who's coming from the Microsoft camp and you want to use VS Code? That's all cool. And should you be writing in Python? Should you be writing in JavaScript? C#, pick a lane. So this is our standards. We're going to go with this.
Yeah.
And this. So, but it's very intricate.
Yeah. And then add on top of that authentication and authorization.
Yeah.
And
securing your knowledge stores.
Exactly. Now that you've got all this data and you've put it where you need to go, how do you then secure it? How do you then wrap it to make sure only certain people get access to it. How do you potentially, I'm just thinking a couple of our customers where they have information barriers in place to stop people seeing things in different systems. How do you then allow data to be segregated within an agent so that if a certain person is interacting with the agent, that agent is only allowed to use a portion of its knowledge to be able to give you a response? So there's a lot around there. Super fun to get into the detail about and building these things, but yeah, having a think about all these different aspects of how you build agents to do this is, yeah, it's not as easy as just going, I'm going to use ChatGPT. It's what are we going to do?